Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90-Day Fiancé latest news. There are rare and holy times in the boundless expanse of life when something beautiful takes root in silence, growing stronger beneath the surface until it explodes in breathtaking bloom. Dreams often dissolve against the harsh winds of reality. Such a moment had come for Shekinah Garner and Sarper, not in an opulent display, not beneath the flashlights of cameras or the close examination of outsiders, but in the silent, secret rooms of their hearts, a seed of life planted in love, cultivated in hope. Shekinah had sensed a change, a stirring, deep within her long before headlines would whisper of a new beginning, long before friends and family would wipe away tears of unexpected excitement. The first whisper of a life not yet seen but already profoundly known, a sensation transcending language and reason. It was perseverance more than perfection that produced a miracle. Their love was messy, passionate, sensitive. It had withstood oceans, misinterpretation, the mocking judgment of a society ready to discount what it does not know. And right now it grew fruit in the most ancient, most holy manner imaginable. The first hint was minor, a flutter of intuition, a lost rhythm. Then arrived the confirmation, the narrow blue line carved across a plain stick. But to them it felt as though the skies themselves had been split open with light. Sarper, the once restless soul chasing the fleeting delights of youth across continents and years, stopped when Shekinah presented him the evidence. And in that instant, just a breath, just a pulse, every crazy road he had ever followed vanished like autumn leaves before the approaching winter. He was to be a father. Standing before him, Shekinah sensed the ground change under her feet. Every silent prayer she had cast into the starless nights, every agonizing hope she had wrapped in careful stillness, came flooding back in a wave of unbounded, amazing delight. Together, they hugged two architects of a future freshly created rather than as lovers caught up in the emotion of the present. Now stood at the brink of the biggest chapter of their life, two warriors who had battled for a love no one believed could endure. The days that followed merged like the colors of a sunrise too beautiful to define. There were appointments. Doctors dropped by. Blood tests, vitamins, sonograms, the mechanics of existence softly moving ahead. Underneath it all, though, a more profound change was occurring, one they could not see but which was indisputable. The image showed at the first ultrasonic, blurry, flickering, no more than a human form suggestion. To them, nevertheless, it was the face of destiny itself. A small flickering pulse, a star flaring into life inside the great galaxy of their love. And when the technician smiled, turning the screen gently toward them, whispering the words that would permanently change the course of their story. It's a boy, 1,000 dreams, 1,000 futures, unfolded all at once in their minds. Sarper held Shekinah's hand so firmly she could feel his pulse hammering against her flesh. Usually so ferociously alive, his eyes now shimmered with tears he tried to suppress. The world, the glory, the cameras, the criticism, everything vanished at that same instant. Just this exists. Just she, just him, just the life they had produced together. They created a universe around him in the next weeks. This lad they had not yet met, but already adored beyond measure. Little garments placed on hangers painted in pastels. Once unopened, books now piled carefully. Stories of bravery, amazement, generosity, all ready to be read into the small ears of a sleeping child. One sleek bachelor apartment designed by Sarper was gently and lovingly turned into a house. Every nail driven into the wall, every lullaby Shekinah quietly murmured while folding onesies. These were the unseen sutures holding their new life together. And in the quiet, holy hours of the night, they would lay awake, speaking in hushed tones about who their son might become. Would he possess the quiet strength of Shekinah? Sarper's wild rage? Would he choose a softer road guided by his mother's infinite compassion, or pursue the world as his father once did? They wondered if he would know. Could he ever really know? How fiercely he was loved even before he drew his first breath. But among the delight there were also frightening times. Nights Shekinah would wake with a start, holding her tummy and murmuring prayers into the darkness. Days when Sarper would spend hours gazing out the window, wondering whether he could live up to the weight of the title father now hung before him. The vulnerability was raw and unbounded. Still, they discovered courage even in dread, for fear, too, was a sign of love. Life moved to a different rhythm gradually. Doctor visits were rites of thanks rather than daily business. Every flutter of activity inside Shekinah's womb was a drumbeat calling something sacred to arrive. Every kick, every stretch, every small error was honored as a victory of faith over fear, of love over uncertainty. When they told their families the news, it was not met with shock, but with tears. Tears that washed away old wounds and opened the door to forgiveness, to acceptance, to a new beginning not just for Shekinah and Sarper, but for generations yet to come. They waited together, hand in hand at the brink of the largest unknown either had ever encountered. They waited for the day their son would draw his first breath, would cry his first cry, would open his eyes and see the world that had been built, not of perfect, undying love. One truth resonated louder than all the uncertainties, louder than the delicate bloom of spring giving way to the ripeness of summer. This boy, this tiny miracle, would be born into a love that had been tested in fire and found indestructible. He would be the living tribute to a love story that many doubted, but few could ever really understand. He would be the link between two worlds, two hearts, two lifetimes of dreams, now spun together permanently. And as Shekinah and Sarper stood beneath the endless starlight sky, feeling the tiny kicks against Shekinah's ribs, they realized something they had always known, somewhere deep inside their souls. The best stories are not the ones we publish to the world. The best stories are the ones we live together. And for them, the greatest narrative of all was only just beginning. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.